It's August 23rd at about 5 a.m. It looks like. I'm close to it. I'm making coffee, and that was my cat sneezing. Oh, man. Read something encouraging last night from one of the COPD sites that I was on. Somebody was asking about mild emphysema diagnosis. The idea of, how worried should I be? And the answer was, if you do the right things, you can actually keep it in mild, typically. Quitting smoking, which I'm still in between like 1.5 cigars and 2 a day, which is better than the 5 or 6 that I was smoking before the diagnosis, but I still want to get that to 0 because living and all. And just as a PSA, if you haven't started smoking, don't I don't know that it's necessarily worth it. Little gnats kind of thing was flying around here. It's weird. Coffee. I just got paid for my day job. It's never enough, right? Placed a Walmart order. Our Walmart's like out of almost everything, it seems. I was able to get some stuff though. It's gonna get delivered this morning. What all do we got going on today? It's Friday, August 23rd, 2024. We are supposed to go to the vet today at noon to have Stevie's stitches taken out. And I think Tiny works tonight, I think. Yeah, Tiny works tonight. He's making up for the other day when he wasn't able to go in. Because we were so exhausted from walking. And this will be a testament to how much walking in the sun I've done. I'm actually my shoulders are starting to peel just that little bit. It's like, really? Okay. Who is tickling my tail? Hexy. He's a very fluffy, bottle brush tail. So when he flicks it at your legs, it sometimes tickles a little bit. He's currently at the feeding bowl. I just filled it. They were cat empty. I was at my desk when I got up, and he came in and sat on there's a little cat tree right next to my desk. He sat on the perch there and meowed at me a bit, which he's not real talkative with most people, but we have conversations fairly often. But he ran off into the kitchen, came back, perched, ran off into the kitchen. He was trying to get me to follow him. He was letting me know that they were cat empty and that there was panic across the land. Famine had swept through overnight. So I filled their bowl and everything was okay. If you're a cat owner, you understand. I'm drinking coffee today out of my Colbert mug. I ordered a couple of these months ago. He's doing it, probably still available because, the event is still available, is still going on. But I was doing a fundraiser for I don't know the name of the charity. It's like Kitchens Across America or something, Kitchens for the World. But it's a chef that runs an organization that basically sets up food distribution and or food prep in areas that are in crisis. And he's doing something with Ukraine because, there's a hot mess going on down there. I do think it's hilarious that Ukraine has started to move into Russian territory. I think that's hilarious. And Putin's complaining about it. What, you don't like it? Huh, weird. Maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe it's like playground lessons here. You don't like it when people invade your country? Huh, okay. Tell you what, maybe you shouldn't invade people's countries. Maybe you hurt their feelings when you did that. Yeah. Now, go play with the other kids, but be nice. But I do. I think it's hilarious that Ukraine is blowing up bridges and entering Russian territory. Yeah. That's good stuff right there. And I'm willing to bet they're not actually being inhumane or cruel. It's a hunch. And from a political opinion standpoint, yes, I think we should be funding Ukraine. Yes, I think we should be sending weapons there. They are fighting the good fight. They are being invaded by bad guys, villains. And we do have to take a stand. In another way of looking at it, if we're worried about Russia as a nation, Ukraine's kind of doing our dirty work for us. And it sounds awful. Not really, except for volunteers and whatnot, no American lives are in jeopardy. We're just giving them the guns to fight with. And I know it makes the Ukrainians sound like cannon fodder. But, if you're playing the game of Risk, which we seem to be doing a lot, it's good strategy. I really hope Zelensky survives through the end of this, because never underestimate a bard. Will surprise you. Yeah. Proud that he's in our ranks. Very proud that he's in our ranks. So Colbert was doing a fundraiser thing, and it was like $20-25. Very expensive for a coffee mug, even if it is a 15-ounce mug. But I couldn't resist. If you saw his stuff from a year ago, 2 years ago, because this war has been going on for a while, his Russian digs about, is potato. It's what this is all about, is potato. And then, the late night logo on the other side. Just love it. Got a couple of them. Figure, feed some people in Ukraine. I get a couple of pretty cool coffee mugs because, yes, that is one of my fetishes, if you will, is cool coffee mugs. It's potato. But I watched his monologue last night. I guess day 3 from the DNC just concluded, and Tim Walz, and Oprah, and the Obamas, a bunch of no names. One thing that really struck me was the way that I watched some of the speeches, and they were compelling. It was good stuff. But the way Colbert ended his monologue, and I know I'm gonna get the punchline / point wrong, but he said, maybe it took a coach to teach us what locker room talk should really sound like. That's quality zinger right there. It's good. It's good stuff. because Tim Walz is kind of, everybody's uncle, everybody's dad, kind of got that kind of vibe going on. Based on what I'm seeing, provided he's not an incredible actor, and fooling me, he's a good man. He's a good man, and if you're considering who's going to be running things, you know what I mean? If you stop and think, who do I want making decisions that are going to affect my life? Because that's what government does. It makes decisions and judgments that affect the way you are allowed to live your life. The good things that come your way, the bad things that come your way. Do you want a man of character, or do you want something else? Or a woman of character. I don't mean to generalize. That's kind of what you got to ask yourself. Who would I feel comfortable with making decisions for me? For me, the choice is obvious. I know some other people that have been conned, scammed, bamboozled, or just think that the strongman, shallow, machoistic, xenophobic approach is the right one. Come on, guys, pay attention. He's the villain. He's not the hero. You're looking at the wrong guy. But yeah, no. The Harris Walz ticket's looking better and better, honestly. And he's pretty progressive. He did a lot of things in his home state that, if they're looking at that as a model for national. Yeah, let's do that. The only way, well, not the only way, but it'd be nice if we were talking about, Medicare for all, like Bernie's been proposing for, decades. That would be really cool. But a lot of other things on the list are getting checked off. Yes, sir. That's promising. And let's be honest, the other guy, he has no plans of his own. The only plans in motion are Project 2025. And honey, you don't want that. Read up on some of that stuff. You don't want that. The Handmaid's Tale is supposed to be fiction. My cat is getting into all kinds of mischief over here. But The Handmaid's Tale is supposed to be fiction. It's not supposed to be, a blueprint of what we want to do. But it'll take us in that direction. It's not a good thing. We don't want that. It's not who we are. It's not what America is. No. Reject it. What else do we need to talk about? Again, not I've got a little congestion, like in my sinuses. You can probably hear it because it deepens my voice just that little bit and all that. Little bit of a scratchy throat. I think I still might be fighting off whatever knocked Pixie on her butt. So it's not affecting me as severely, but it's kind of lingering in a weak aspect. A little bit of snot, the nasal congestion. It's nasal, sweetheart. My sinuses are all kinds of backed up, But yeah, I feel a little bit in my throat. but it's not like a chest wheeze or anything like that. I'm not too worried about a chest infection. Although, again, from even a mild standpoint, that's the kind of stuff that can pump me up a level. I don't want to pump up a level. I don't want to do that. I would like to stay oxygen tank free for the rest of my life if I can make that happen. I think I can. I'm hoping. But again, that's what I'm live journaling. Because again, I found a couple more people that had been diagnosed with COPD. They made a couple videos about how they were gonna, make videos of their progress and all that kind of stuff. And I'm giving a lot more than just COPD updates. I realize that. I'm welcoming you into my world. But they did like 3 videos in 2023 and then abruptly stopped in June. It's like, man, don't do that. Don't do that. At least do a final video saying, okay, I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to not do any more videos. Don't just stop doing videos, because that makes me think, okay, you were doing good, you died. You know what I mean? Don't just stop without explaining why you stopped. I don't like that. That makes me nervous. But I need to call my parents today. Still having, I don't even know if I've mentioned this to you before or not, but I've been having nightmares past week or two regarding my parents. It's part of my anxiety, I know, because I'm expecting a phone call. I'm expecting to see a Pasco County Sheriff pull up in the front lawn. I don't even know if they do that anymore. If they do the, do you know Fred and Sam, that kind of house call thing that you see in the movies and the TV shows all the time. I don't know if they do that. If it's just Hollywood. I feel like I'm going to find out. It's kind of one of those things where what I've been through over the past year and a half, 2 years, I'm expecting it, so I'm ready for it, but I know I'm not ready for it. I don't know that you're ever really ready for that kind of news flash. But I'll be attempting as best I can to make videos through that too. So if I'm a hot mess, forgive me. Because that'll mean that my parents just died. So that's a thing. But yeah, I keep having those thoughts, and I keep seeing my grandmother in my dreams too. She's been gone 15 years. And it's weird because she was a good woman, and I knew her, but we didn't have a close relationship. She'd send me when I was a kid, when I was a pup. She lived in Virginia. She was a very strong single mom in the 40s. Very, very tough love, stern, but absolutely a caretaker. She took care of things. But yeah, as a kid I got, and this is in the 70s and 80s, I got Christmas cards and birthday cards with a, $5 bill or $10 bill tucked inside, and I hope you're well, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, or whatever. For me, those cards were usually back to back, but at least they were separate. For context, my birthday's at the end of December, so I'm one of those kids that sometimes, got gypped. Here's your Christmas present and your birthday present. It's still the same size, whatever. I laugh about it now, but but it's true. It's true. But yeah, she'd send me, a Christmas card and then a birthday card, and it was cool. And I'd occasionally send her a letter or a postcard or something like that. But we weren't, we weren't tight, you know. She's in Virginia, I'm in Florida. It's kind of hard to be tight, in the 80s. We'd have to pay long distance fees. Google that. But I do have her to thank for my love for Doctor Who. Completely indirectly. I was a little story about me. Gather round, children. I was 12, and Grandma came down, and I'm telling on people now. Because of the condition of my siblings' rooms, which were perpetually trashed, I was the closest thing to a neat freak of the kids. Which is not to say that I was neat, but by comparison, oh, hell yeah. So my room got selected to be the place where my grandmother would be allowed to sleep, which, good news, bad news, it meant that I was temporarily evicted from my room, but it meant that I got to camp out in the family room where the big TV was. And there was a sliding glass door that separated it from the rest of the house, so I could watch said TV at fairly good volume without fear of repercussions. So, and I couldn't sleep. It was an exciting time and all that. So I was flipping channels, and I want to say it was channel 3 in Tampa, which was like the PBS channel. It was 11 o'clock on a weeknight, and Genesis of the Daleks, episode 1, came on. And I began watching this very odd but neat British sci-fi show that I had never heard of before. And I watched the episode, and it had a cliffhanger to it. And Doctor Who is sponsored in part by Peace River Growers, a division of the Donna's Barber Company located in Sulphur Springs, Florida, producing canaryized foliage and woody ornamentals. Ask me how I know that one. So I watched the first episode, and I was, even if it hadn't been a cliffhanger, I think I would have been hooked. Back in the days, they actually did Doctor Who like a serial style, which was pretty cool. This is back, Second Doctor, Third Doctor, Fourth Doctor, Fifth Doctor. They do it in like 4 25-minute segments, sometimes longer. There were sometimes some episodes that were a lot longer than that. I don't know what the heck she's doing. I'm a little worried about that. But it was very much like the old serials, which are before my time. Thank you. Tune in next time. But it was the whole, all those times, like in Star Trek, the original series, where, the camera will, like, focus in on Kirk, da-da-da-da-da, oh yes, the Enterprise will be destroyed, da-da-da-da-da, commercial break. All those times, kind of like that, but Doctor Who. And it was the end of the episode. It'd be resolved in the beginning of the next episode, and then another cliffhanger. It's just good stuff. But yeah, no, I fell in love with this quirky, obviously low budget, but neat British sci-fi show. And I've been hooked ever since. So yes, Tom Baker was my first love. And he's still near and dear to me. And that's actually where I got a couple of like vocal isms when I go, ah. That's kind of a Tom Baker thing. A lot of wisdom in Doctor Who too, though. I know that sounds strange to say, but there's some interesting, like, wisdoms, little nuggets that are sometimes hidden in Doctor Who and Star Trek, for that matter. But it had a lot to do with my brain, my upbringing, how I think, and I make no apologies. Part of me never being asleep, the whole, you're woke, never been asleep. Growing up on good sci-fi can do that. Changes your worldview. Makes you ask the right questions at the right times, and not make the snap judgments that a lot of the other people around you will. Wrongly. I thought. Boy, I've yammered on a lot. Looking at the timer and I'm like, oh crap. Alright. Yeah, still alive. Got a fairly busy day. I gotta do some dishes here in a minute too. The sink is filling up. Yay. Make some eggs. Make some yogurt. Things are good. But yeah, still no shortness of breath. I do cough, because people cough, but I'm not having an excessive coughing thing. All those symptom things, I'm okay. So I'm hoping it is mild, and I'm hoping I can actually keep it at mild. There are conflicting opinions at times, but I'm trying to remain optimistic. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. Make it a great day.